Hey everyone, today we're doing rear brakes and rotors on a BMW X5 E70, and in this video I'm going to do a brief discussion to a workshop mode which you need to know about if your E70 has the electromagnetic rear parking brake. Mine actually does not, but I wanted to go ahead and show some documentation on how you would go about releasing the servo so that you can then compress the piston of the caliper. If you don't have the software, Brian's Mobile One has a great video on how you can remove the servo and then back it off and then release the piston. So here's a screenshot of the ISTA Rheingold software that shows you the steps in order to activate the workshop mode, and this after you would perform these steps you could then compress the piston. Hope this helps. Oh, and incidentally, once you perform the work, you do need to come back into the software and enter workshop mode again, and there'll be an option to disable it, and that would put you back into working order. The anti-rattle clip is removed using a flathead screwdriver. There are two dust cover caps that need removed in order to access the caliper bolts. I had to use an extension with the Allen bit in order to get the bottom one out. If you can't easily get your caliper and pads off after removing the bolts, you're going to need to compress the cylinder a little bit. My C-clamp is broken, so I ended up using this wood clamp with one of the lug nut bolts, and that worked pretty well. Go ahead and get a bungee cord to hang the caliper from. You don't want to let the caliper hang just by the brake line. I compress the piston about halfway and then go around and double check that the brake fluid reservoir is not going to overflow. I'm going to just remove the wear indicator at this point, but obviously if you're not going to reuse this, you could just cut the wire. You don't have to really fiddle with it to get it out. Be sure to clean up the caliper bolts and also the carrier. you're going to be applying new grease to these components later on. Be sure you thoroughly clean the faces of where the pads are going to ride. This is where you're going to be applying grease, so we want to get those as clean as possible. And now we'll clean up the caliper where the pads are going to ride. This is also where we're going to be applying grease. Then be sure to get the two tabs on the side of the caliper. These are going to need greased as well. Now we turn our attention to the routing of the new wear sensor. In order to get access to where the plug is, you need to remove some fasteners on the wheel well. And there's one 8mm screw under here that needs removed. It's the one farthest from you that you see down here. The wear sensor wire is attached with a rubber grommet here way in the back. Just pull straight down. A trim tool works well for releasing these plastic latches. Just slide under and they pop off from the top. This electrical connector, there's just a tab holding it. Just push on the back and that'll release it. Spraying the grommet with some silicone will help it slide back into place easier. Be sure you get the hex bit all the way inserted into the retaining screw, and I find that an impact drill works best to release these without stripping. I missed it in filming, but be sure you grease these pins as well, make them ooey gooey. And that's pretty much it. If you did have the EMF on your parking brake, be sure to go back into the Rheingold software and go into the parking brake section, workshop mode, and click disable. That's it. Thank you for watching.